Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. You might have remember in our last video we have made a simple API which is called hello. When we run that API we could able to see a text as hello world. So that API we have completely built or we have made in our Spring Boot application, or also we can tell as a Java based application. Okay, so now in today's video or in this video or in this episode, what we are going to do means we'll be creating a one more API. So what is this API is going to do? So basically we'll take an example of like student or a customer or an employee, just any one of this example. So we'll what we'll do, so with the help of Spring Boot application, we'll add those details, like could be a student or could be a customer, could be an employees. We'll add those details using an API and fetch those details. So if I do both the step in the one video, the video will be very long. So what I planned is I'll do the get method, or so by dumbly we'll store some data in a variable and we'll fetch those data within Spring Boot application. So we'll do that. And in upcoming episodes or in upcoming videos, we'll see how we can fetch those data from the database. Okay, don't worry, I'm with you. We'll go step by step. So first and foremost thing what we have to do, we need to open our Eclipse IDE. So in our Eclipse IDE, we have configured our Spring Boot application. The application which we did in our last video is company. So I'll expand this company over here. As you can see, if you expand this source main Java, here you have two new packages or which we created in our previous episode. So first com.company package is in this package there will be a two types of file, like server instances. One is main application, so or the main method class. So when the program start, the execution start from the main function itself. So that is the main file or the main function or main class of this company project or Spring Boot project. Now we have a controller. So what is this controller is going to do? Let me give a small recap over here. So what all the APIs which we want to run, so that API will be defined or will be created at this point. So we have created hello in a previous episode or in the previous video, right? So when we hit request like localhost 8080 or like google.in/car, we'll get a car images, right? Same thing, like our URL/hello will get hello text. So we'll see we can able to make few more other functionality or other features or other operations. So we'll see one by one. As I told, it is a Java full stack development. So backend will be Java, front end will see what all the, or will use other framework. And in this channel we'll be making a one more complete full stack or Java full stack application. There will be a front end, there will be a back end and a database. So where we can able to interact completely, a completely enterprise level application we'll be doing in this channel. So stay with me. And here what the first and foremost thing, as I told, we'll be creating two APIs. So we'll keep it over here like this. First we'll write all the functionalities of that, and later we'll create an API in our controller. So as of now, okay, in the previous session, I have explained what is my REST controller, but I didn't know what is the definition, actual general definition of REST controller. So let me give you. With the help of REST controller, or REST controller helps us to expose the data through endpoints. Data means what are the functions or what data we need to display. And what is the endpoint means that the URL. So like localhost 8080 slash and whatever the API name could be. So for that we call as endpoints. So REST controller helps us to expose data through endpoints. That will be in a format JSON. Okay, yeah. So now what we'll do, we'll create a new package. Here we are following MVC design pattern. So MVC model view controller, and there are a few more design patterns like DAO design pattern, and we'll see that also as well. Don't worry. So here now we are going to do our model view controller. View means our front end, controller, these are controller, and a model. So now we will be creating model. So what are these model? What are the model in the sense? What are the attributes or we want which and all we require, and that will be mentioned in separate class for the well as a model. Okay. If you're not clear, we'll this is how it's going to look like, and you're gonna understand. Okay, so now let me close this controller class over here. Let me close this over here. And first and foremost thing, what you can do, you need to create a new package. So in the previous session, I showed you how to create a package. Like you need to click on source main Java, and then you need to select a new package, and again you need to give com.company.controller like this. Instead of typing a little bit, means we'll go a little bit fast in the sense a little optimization over here. Okay, so here as you can see com.company, so this is the default one which will be typing like com.company. Next dot model dot controller dot service, that we are going to do, but com.company will be the same, right? So instead of typing this entire thing, so just select this package, click a right button, go for new, and here select as class. So what are the class we are making? So as I told, we'll take employee or student or customer like that. Okay, we can take anything. The main motto, just understand the concept over here. What we are going to do? We are creating a model over here. Okay. Yes. So what's the project name? Our project name is company. Correct. So company, in company there will be employees, right? So we'll create a model called employee. Okay. So I'm here employee in the sense like a table, employee table. So just relate to that. In the database, you'll be creating a table set like employee table, student table, and employee will be having certain of details, like student will be having certain of details like attributes like student name, student class, student college, student mail ID, student phone number, like that. So same thing. So here first we'll create a model called employee. So employee, and here you can see a package name, right? So I don't want to create this file inside this package. I have to create a new package. Okay, so let's say let's say a model, or and just mention as entity, that could be much more better. So entities, so I have mentioned entities instead of entity, because suppose if you want to create a few more like a few more entity means, that's why I gave as a plural one. All right, so here just click on finish. As you can see, a new package has been created inside that employee.java has been created. Suppose if something like it's not in a proper order means, just click a right button over here, and here you can see a refresh, just refresh, so everything will be auto arranged automatically. All right, so now here what we are going to do in this employee, in the sense, just observe carefully. There's a total employee is just like a table. Okay, employee will be having certain attributes like employee ID, employee name will be there, and employee experience, or employee address, employee phone number, employee mail ID. These all details will be there, right? So for that we call as attributes. And now we need to declare those attributes in our model. So how to declare that? You already. So now here we'll be defining few attributes, or we'll be declaring few variables. Okay, so let's say employee will be having certain of details like ID, employee, that. So we'll define or we'll declare everything over here. The entity class, which is our entity class, is employee. Okay, let's say first and foremost thing will include a employee ID, private. I'll keep it this as in a private because it's a Java application. Is there correct? Yes. So private, let's say ID, normally it will be of type integer. Let's keep it int. So ID semicolon. So next what we'll take a employee name. So private string, name will be of type string. So let's say emp name is better, I guess. So emp name is employee name. So next we'll take a private string, or let's say private int experience. Okay, like employee experience. So how much yes, they have for an example, that's why. So let's say one more, will take private string, let's say address. Okay, next we'll take private long phone number would be, I'll take it as number, phone number as a number. Next we'll take private. Last one we'll keep it as a string, and we'll mention as email. Okay, so here these are all the attributes of employee class. So employee will be having id, employee name, experience, near address, phone number, and email id. So even in the first video of this playlist in this YouTube channel, so I have mentioned what are the important topics before starting Eclipse, which is a building blocks of object oriented concepts. So what are those? What are those? In that I have explained about encapsulation. So if you don't remember, let me repeat it again. Wrapping up of data, wrapping up of data and a function into a single unit, for that we call as encapsulation or data encapsulation. Okay, so here let's say so we have created or we have declared few variables, correct? So now I'm going to get, or I'm going to create getters and setters method. So I'll show you how to create that if you have not seen that video. So just click the right button over here and go for source. Here you can see getter and setter, just select that, and here you can see what all the variables you have declared over here, like address, email, employee name, experience, id number, all is there, but it is unchecked, so you need to check everything. So just select all and click on generate. So here what all the variables you have over here that have a function. So what is this function? Suppose when you want to fetch the id of an employee, you can run this method. So get id function, right, like this, or get id method. When you want to set the id for an employee, you can run set id, and you'll give the what kind of id or what is the number of that id. That id will be initialized. Okay, so something again, if you want to get an employee name, get employee name. If you want to set the employee name, set the employee. So for that we call as getters and setters. So wrapping up of data and functions into a single unit, for that what we call it as an data encapsulation. I hope it is clear. So now model part is done, so let's save this first. Save this. Okay, now close this. So now next what I'm going to do, I'll be creating a service. So what is this service actually? So we have created an employee and we need to give some operations to be performed for employee, right? Like features or some operations, like to add employee data and to get employee data. For that we call it as a service. So let's say we'll create a service package. Inside that we'll create a employee service file. Okay, so now here just quick or important note over here is, when you're creating a service, when you're creating a service package, inside that package we are not creating a class, we're creating an interface. I'll tell you what this interface is. Okay, so first and foremost we'll create a package. So com dot, okay, we'll create an interface. Okay, just click a right button over here carefully, new. Here you can see an interface, right? Interface, just select interface, and I'm mentioning this interface name as employee service, and the package name will be form.company.service, and just enter. So here you can see a service package has been created, and inside that our interface has been created. And now, so what is this interface is? So let me give what is it is. So what are the operation you need to perform on employee? So actually what are the operation we are going to perform, like to get the employee data and to add the employee data. That's all for now, correct? So we need to define, okay, we need to define what all the operation we are going to perform in employee. That we need to define in employee service. To define the employee method, that's all. We are not writing the code, or we are not writing the body for that employee. We are just writing the method or defining the method, or what method we need to perform on employees. So that we are defining over here. That's it, simple. So wait, so what is the method we need to perform? We need to perform to get to the employees. get the employee. So as of now, I'm just giving only one method. I'm just declaring only one method over here, and in the next video we'll declare another method by another method as adding an employee. As of now, we'll keep it only one. So let's say, so get the employee means what is the return type that could be. So let's say like this first, public and what, see, when I write a method it has to return something, right? So what it has to return, it has to return the employee data. So where we are going to store that employee data? So we'll be storing that employee data. Can I see, if I ask you guys where you want to store the employee data, means you can tell a database. So now as of now we are not using a database. And where we can store, you can tell, okay, we can use in data structures like array or the stack. But I can't say, but it's not possible to store our data in array. That's because, what's the definition of array? What's the definition of array? Array stores the elements of same type or homogeneous type. Let me repeat it. Array is a data structure which stores the element of same data type. If I define an array as int of int type, it is going to store only int type of data. If I give array type as string, it is going to store only string type of data. But if you observe in our entity or in our model over here, employee, what are the different types of data we have? We have int, we have string, and we have long as well. So we cannot able to store this data in an array, correct? But there is one more data structure which is called array list or a list. So in array list is going to store any type of data, but it's going to store the elements of any type. Okay, so that's why I'm mentioning here as list, and also I'm just giving this. So what is this? Inside this I'll mention as employee. So why I'm mentioning as employee, I'll just tell you. First, let me write the method name. What is the method name? Get employee. This is the user defined method name. And here you are getting an error which is list. So we need to import list. Let's say import list. And here the employee and the employee over here, let's say, let's import this employee. So why I have wrote employee over here? That's because, see, when this method is going to return something means, what type of data does this method is going to return? So we need to return the data as of type employee. So where we have this employee, we have employee in the entities. So what type of data? This type of data has to be returned. So that's why whenever we get an output from this method, it has to be of type employee. So employee is nothing but our class or model. So let's import this. As you can see, if you observe in the import, here it is importing from com.company.entities. So com.company.entities means this one. So correct. So let's import this. Done. So this is the first operation or the first method we are going to perform for our employee. Okay. Yes. So now we'll try to write a code for this. So this is a service where we have defined our methods, and now we are going to create a one more package. The package name will be implement service. So where we'll implement this method, or we'll be writing a code for this method, or we are writing a body for this method. Okay, let's say this. So I'll save this and I'll close these two files. Okay, so I don't want this now. Alright, so let's create a new package. So com.company, click the right button, go for new. This will be a class. So class name will be employee service IMPL. I'm making as IMPL class. So IMPL means implementation. I'm implementing employee service, and here I'll keep as service IMPL. So package name will service IMPL. Service we are implementing that service, so that's why I gave this package name as service IMPL. So let's click on finish. So here a new class has been created over here. So wait, so we have created a new class, but we need to perform this method operation, right? So how to do that? So first and foremost thing what I can do, I'll type as implements implements what? Implement employee service. Implement employee service. So you'll get an error here that will be imported like this into import. And here, so why I have imported this employee service means what are the methods we have in employee services that will come over this IMPR class. And wait, here you can see an error, right? What is this error? Just hover your mouse over there, and there you can see add unimplemented methods. And what are those unimplemented methods? We don't know that, correct? So just select that. What you can see over here, public list employee get employee, and it is giving open and close parenthesis, correct? So where we have this method, we have that method in employee service. So we have implemented that. So it is showing, or it is giving an error, so that what are the method which is defined in employee service, we need to import everything. So we have only defined only one method that has been defined. I have removed this command as of now. So here now we need to write the code for this, so that is going to give a list of employees. So wait, this method is going to give a list of employees, but we don't have any employees to return, or to give an output, correct? So now what I'll do, since we are not using any database as of now, I'll create a dummy data, like I'll add some dummy data to the list by myself, and we'll run this API. Okay, so simple. So let me save this first. And here we need to annotate something. So what is this annotation? So in our com.company we have mentioned as add Spring Boot application, right? So means we are telling this for main function, this is a Spring Boot application. The same thing, I need to tell this IMPI class is a service. So why? Because, so let's say first let me type this service. Okay, so what is this service is, see, when I call this method, actually I will be calling this method from my controller. So when I call this method, I don't have any body for this method, correct? So when I give this as a service and I have implemented from employee service, so the pointer will come over here. I mean, when the controller search for this method, is going for this implementation part where we have defined as service. Okay, so if you get confused, don't worry, at the end we'll be calling this method. That time you're going to understand about what is this service. Basically, let me give a brief over here again. So when this method is called, this method doesn't have any body, correct? So we have implemented that method, or that service employee IMPL service, correct? That method of this service will be returned. All right, so now we don't have any data, so let me create a new dummy data here. Okay, so let's get a array list. So how to create array list? Just this array list, array list. So let's say array list name will be employee list is equal to new array list, simple. And here you are getting an error, so that you need to import this array list. So import it, and it is done. So now I'm telling this array list as what type of data this array list has to store. So actually when I give like this, so int, this is going to store only int type of data, or not int, actually integer, like this. And I give this an integer, it is going to store only integer type of data. Okay, so we need to write here as well, but I'll show you. So that's why I don't want to store only integer type of data, or only a string type of data. I want to store of type employee type of data work. So that's why what I'm going to do, I mention this as employee, okay, like this. So here also I need to mention as employee type. So now this array list, or this employee list, is going to store the data of type employee. So now what we are going to do, we are going to add some data for this employee list. But wait, okay, we'll do that. We'll see, we'll get an error. I'm telling, we'll get an error, and we'll see what is the error is. Okay, we'll try. So let's say like this, employee list, like this, employee list dot add like this. Okay. So now what we are going to do means we'll store a data of type employee. So let's say new employee. So what are the data we have in employee? First data will be let me open this file employee Java. First we have id. Id is of type int. So let's keep this as id, let's say 1 and a comma. So next what we have employee name. It is of type string. So we need to give this name as a double quotes, or you can give it in single quotes as well, no problem. So let me give it this double quotes. Let's say Doraemon, okay, Doraemon and a comma. So next what we have experience is of type int. So it has been number. Let's say 5 years of experience and comma. And next what we have after that, we have address of type string. It has been a double quotes. So I'll keep in double quotes. Let me give a place name as India. Okay, as of now. So comma. The next what we have after address, we have a number. It is of type long. So let's say I'm just entering random number over here like this, the comma. Next what we have an email of type string. So let's say in a double quotes, Doraemon mail.com. That's it. Simple. So now I've added all the data, but we are getting an error over here. So now we'll see what is this error is. Okay. So first and foremost, you see, employee is taking some arguments, correct? But the employee is taking some arguments means it is type of, it is like a constructor. So when I go inside my employer, we cannot able to find a constructor over here. So what is my constructor? Constructor name will be always same as the class name, but we don't have any method like that, right? So we need to create a constructor over here. So let's say click a right button, go for source. So here you can see constructor using fields. Just select that and generate. A parameterized constructor will be generated over here. So if I save this, as you can see here, so this is our parameterized constructor. And next, so what we can do now is, so next we'll be creating one more constructor which is a default constructor. So source and constructor using from superclass and generate. So this is our super class constructor. This is the default constructor and this is parameterized constructor. And I'm going to create one more which is toString. Okay, so click the right button, go for source. Here you can see generate toString. What are the data you're getting? You need to mention it as a toString so that you won't get any error while getting the output. So mention that. So this is what it is. It is done. So now save this. Okay, now we'll check this error, how to solve this. Okay. Okay, so what is this error? Because here we have made a small mistake over here. See, when I define this over here, I don't know when to call this line, correct? So we are not writing any method over here. So what we can do here, we'll create a constructor over here and we'll add this line inside that constructor. So whenever this class is called, that constructor will be called automatically. So now what I'll do, I'll just first let's create a constructor over here. So what is the constructor? So public, this is our class name. So let's copy this and paste it, open and close parenthesis, and like this. So whenever this class is called, the constructor will be called automatically. So I'll copy this line or I'll cut this line, I'll paste it over here. So now you can see we don't have any error. Okay, so like this. All right. Okay, so now what we'll do here means, as you can see, this method is returning null. So we don't want null to be returned, correct? So we'll return this employee list. That's all. Simple, very simple. That's it. So here we are adding our data like dumbly we are adding by hard coding. So we need to get this data from where? From database. So we'll see that how to do that in our upcoming videos. But understand. So array is also one of the most important data. All right, so let's save this. We don't have any error in our any of the files. So now everything is done. Everything is done. Now what is the last part we have? We have to create our API, and this API should call what? It should call that get employees method. So first and foremost thing what we can do is we need to create an object of this service. Okay, so let's say like this: private employee employee service employee service. This is the class name, I mean the interface name over here. As you can see, same spelling, and here I'm creating an object of this. So I'll keep it in a small letter, ELOY service and a semicolon. And here you are getting an error, so that you need to import that. So import it, and we don't have any error over here. And wait, so here you need to learn about one more annotation. So what is that annotation is? So let me write it. At auto wired. So at auto wired. So you'll get an error. So just import this auto wired. So now what is this auto wired is? So auto void is used for inject or used for dependency injection, works as a dependency injection, or inject objective dependency will be applied to setters and constructor methods. Okay, so let me repeat it again. So whenever I call this service, this employee service, I need to get the employee service ka method. So where that method will be there? That method will be there in employee IMPL or employee service IMPL, right? So like this. So when I mention it as AutoVAD, I can able to get the implementation of this employee service. So I'll show you how to do that. So let's write a method over here, or we'll create an API. So let's say public, and this method is going to return what? It is going to return a list. Okay, so now let's mention it as list like this. Okay, like it is going to return a list. Or wait, so instead of writing a list, we can give a employee object also, but as of now it's not necessary. We'll use that in our next API. So what type of list has to be written? Of type employee. Simple. So we can give any name for this method. So I'll give as get employees employees data. Can mention anything. Okay, so get employees data, open and close parenthesis, and flop parenthesis. So you need to import this list and as well as this employee. So list, import this list, and employee, import this employee. Done. So now here also you are getting an error. That's because I have wrote a method, but this method is expecting to return something. Correct? If I mention over here, if I click on return, it is going to return null. I don't want to return null, right? So I'll take this employee service. So let me remove the employee service. So when you click on dot, here you can see get employee method is available in employee IMPL. Correct? Get employee, where it is? Get employee is in IMPL, and also it is in service get employee. All right. So employee service dot get employee and a semicolon. That's it. Simple. Our API has been, I mean, method has been done. So now we need to mention an API. So how to do that API? Like you need to give us at. So here we have used the request mapping. So instead of using request mapping, we'll use get mapping. So we are getting the data, correct? So get mapping. So here let's say slash employees. So when I hit okay, you need to import this get mapping over here and done, and we don't have any error. So now you guys already know when I hit this hello world text will be written. So now when I hit this slash employees, I'll get the employee which is there in our application, correct? So now we'll save this, which is already saved. So now let's run this application. Just click a right button, go for run as Java application. Okay. So our application started successfully. I mean, it's running. So we'll see whether we are getting any error or not. So here you need to select company application. Just click on OK, and here our application started in the console. As you can see, Spring, I don't think so. We have any error. So it started perfectly, and it is running in the port number. What is the port number? Number is 8080, as you can see. So now you can go to your browser, you can open any of your browser. As of now mine is opening a Brave browser. It's not necessary, you can anything, it is good. Okay, so just create on a new tab and just search for, or you need to type a endpoint like google.com. You are mentioning localhost. We are running this application localhost, right? Localhost colon, what is the port number? Port number is 8080. And in upcoming video I'll show you how to change the port number as well. So 8080, when I give hello, so I'll get the hello text over here. So what is the one more API we have? We have employee. So employees, okay, like this, just hit enter. So now as you can see, you got a data over here, so where you have mentioned. And if you observe over here, it won't show like a JSON. So that's because in your browser you don't have a JSON formatter. Now go to a new tab and just type as JSON format. Okay, that's all. And here you can see Chrome extension. If you scroll down a little bit, somewhere over here, okay, if you don't get, just type as JSON format extension. Okay, like this. So here I have a Chrome extension. Just click on JSON formatter, and here just add to Chrome. That's it. Add to Chrome. So in my case, I'm using Brave. No problem. Just select as add in your case. Okay, add extension. And here it has to show as like something remove. When it show remove, means that extension has been added. As you can see, remove from Chrome or remove from Brave will get. So now we have extension. So let's refresh this. As you can see, now our data is in JSON format. So which is complete a Java application where you are getting an employee data from our Java application, from the backend application. Just like this, as you can see, if you go to this new tab again, as you can see, chrome.google.com/web store slash details slash JSON formatter. Same employees or same API we have created successfully. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah, cool. So now what we are going to do, we have only one data, right? So we'll add few more data over here and we'll display that data in our application. So I'll go to my Eclipse again here. So yeah, okay, go to that IMPL class, is employee service IMPL. So we'll add some data. I'll just copy this and paste it twice, and here I'll change the ID name will be 2, and let's say Doraemon, keep it as let's Shinchan, and experience would be like 10, and let's keep it as Japan. You can give any number you want. I'll change the mail ID as well. This okay, so next one I'll keep it as uh, Power Rangers or Power Ranger. So I'll keep it as Power Ranger. Since will be 8 years. I could A, and I'll keep some number. I'm just adding a dummy data. Okay. So in upcoming video we'll see how we can get this data from our database. We store the data from So let's say range. So let's save this. Okay, wait. Before saving, when you save this, just observe in this save this. It is loading by itself. Means it is restarting by itself. So that's because in the previous video we have added a dependency called Spring Dev Tool. So no need to terminate this uh, what remote application will be reloaded. So now you go to your browser, just refresh it. Here you'll get three data, correct? So first one is Doraemon, Shinchan, and Power Rangers. So this is our backend application or a Java application, our backend. So where we are getting the data. Same thing in the front end. You need to fetch, select those data from here. See, we are getting the data in our browser, correct? Same thing, we need to get this data and print it as way we want it. Simple. We can use React or you can use Angular also. We'll say that in upcoming videos. Okay, as of now this is fine. So I hope you guys understood how to create a Spring Boot application to get the data and see what are the data you are getting in a JSON format. Okay, so I need to explain a few more things about JSON, because what are the data you get from the Java application, it will be in the format of JSON, and whenever you put the data for the Java application from your front end, it has to go as form of JSON only. I'll explain you how to do that, okay, and how it is going to work. Don't worry. So that's all for today. And for the next session, we need Postman, and I have added a Postman installation video in the this channel. Go check that video, and also I'll put it in the description. Just go and download Postman, so that we need Postman for from our next series or from our next video. So that's all for today. That's all for today's session or for this video. So we'll meet you in our next video. Until then, take care. Goodbye. Bye bye.